Culture is not one size fits all. It's not out of the shelf thing that can be applicable to all organizations. So if you want to define your culture, your values, then you have to really work very hard.
She's passionate in organizational change, obsessed with culture transformation and human psychology. A mother of 3 little cute ones. Fatma Al Ramadhani, manager of culture and well-being. This is Al Muhammad hosting this episode of the podcast. Welcome, Fatma, to this episode. Thank you so much for joining. So, before we go deep into the topic of today's episode, let's talk more, or let's know about Fatma, because from what I knew, that change and culture, it's not your specialty or not your major. Or what did you study? I think you studied something else, right? And how did you find yourself in the culture?
Thank you, Al for having me. It's a pleasure to be part of this podcast series and to mainly talk about a topic that I'm really passionate about, and it's becoming a trend nowadays in corporate organizations about change and culture. So my background is mainly in marketing and communication, and I just recently moved into the change and culture, let's say 3 years back, when the organization went through the integration process. Okay. So it was for me a change in my career path, because wanted to see how the changes might impact the people's psychology, beliefs and norms, how changes can impact their behaviors and their values. So where I took or being certified in change management, and then going deeper to understand more if having a proper change management in process will help people accept the change and lower resistance to the changes that is happening. We have also to bear in mind that people at the end of the day, they are a mix of beliefs and feelings.
Yes.
So if the organization really take care about how people they feel, their moral and their loyalty to the organization, then the organization will help its people to move faster during the change journey, as well as maintaining the performance level.
That's really interesting. So Fatma, thank you for this brief. And I think just for our audience, let's just define what's organizational culture. What do we mean about culture in any organization nowadays?
A definition of a culture is, think about it as describing the personality of the organization. So what does culture organization means? It's the set of values, behaviors and norms that describe the organization.
So it's more of like identity of the...
Exactly.
Yes,
so
okay.
What describes Ookyo today as a corporate culture? How people sees Ookyo. So when people talk about the culture, is how we deal with each other, how we deal with our shareholders, with our customers and stakeholders. It's the daily interaction that we are doing in every day.
This is really interesting. So we will go step by step. I do believe that change happened during those 3 days. So can we say like change management and culture found Fatma, or Fatma found change management, or both of you found each other?
I do really believe that if you are passionate about a topic or a discipline, then you will really master it and you will be doing great. So what I was blessed of is I got the support needed at that point, and I was given the opportunity to actually excel in change and organization culture.
Exactly.
What is unique about Ookyo is that I can consider Ookyo as a pioneer in today's market in Oman, especially to actually lead and to go through such experience. And I'm really proud to see that other corporates and organizations in Oman, they come and reach to us, wanted to know more about the experience, how we led this journey. We are not yet at the end of the journey. We just embark on the cultural change, but I'm sure that with the support of everyone in the organization, that how people are really happy about the culture carpet discussion that is happening at the moment. I'm seeing that it's toward a very positive.
I think, Fatma, we will get deeper and deeper about that. No spoilers for our audience. We'll talk more about what's happening right now in Ookyo when it comes to the culture project. But before going there, you mentioned really and highlighted a really good point where mentioning these international or pioneer companies in Oman or even internationally, how it's important for their employee to have a culture or to know how to control or to maintain a certain culture or to adapt a new culture for their organization, of course, they know that it will impact positively on maybe their growth or maybe in their performance. So can you elaborate more about that? How important is culture to an organization, to its people, to their well-being, how it's related at the end of the day?
Yes, it's really important to highlight that culture is not one size fits all. It's not out of the shelf thing that can be applicable to all organizations. So if you want to define your culture, your values, then you have to really work very hard to find out what the best suits your employees.
Okay.
I mean, taking care of the culture means you will retain your talent, you will make your employees more loyal to the organization, their motivation, which will impact definitely the performance of the organization. So from the time that it's leading actually the employee experience, from the time I enter the office of the organization until I leave, I really enjoy the 8 hours or the 9 hours I spent, because the organization is taking care of my well-being, my culture, and in return, I invest on my performance. So it's a win-win situation. So as I mentioned before, if you want to retain your talent, if you want to make your staff a brand ambassador and describe the organization as the best, then culture is really a mandatory thing. It's not a complementary, but it's something that we really need to take care of.
Okay, and this brings us to the main point where we want to know more about the tools, the strategies, what you're really working on right now. We've seen the culture project rolling out, and can you elaborate more on what are we doing right now as Ookyo for implementing the culture, the practices, everything?
Actually, the mechanism or how we adapt the project, it was really very unique, because it was not a decision from the top management to implement it in the organization. We had adapted two different directions. So we have the top management in one side, and we have also engaged the organization on the other side. So it was a combination of co-creation. I think, or I can tell that every single employee in the organization, he participated in shaping the culture and the new values one way or another, whether it was through the survey or the one-to-one interviews or the focus group. We allowed staff to express their feelings, to contribute to shape the culture that they want all to be part of. And that led to designing the new values and behaviors. So today, Ookyo culture is we care, we collaborate, and we perform. And our slogan, it's Ookyo culture, together we perform and we grow. So culture starts with everyone. It's not owned by the culture and well-being team. It's owned by every individual employee in the organization. And we are at a really interesting stage where we are having the entire organization going through the culture carpet discussion or the culture engagement session. It's happening all over the organization, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank the catalysts who are really doing great in spreading the awareness about the new values, about the new behaviors and the leadership principles.
Okay, thank you, Fatma, for highlighting this. And it's always easy to bring and to get new systems, new technology to adapt those. But when it comes to changing people's mindset and people's morals, this maybe it's a challenging, let's say it's a challenging situation. So how did was there like any difficulties, or let's say what were like those challenges, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Yeah, in the science of change, it's a human nature that people usually they resist change. So we have to repeat the message 60 to 70 times to ensure that it resonates with people. So we have to we have to put this in mind, that it won't be an overnight change. It has to be a continuous building on the foundation and the understanding of people. What's really important is that once you believe in the change and you are passionate about and you want to contribute, then it will be an easy process for everyone.
Okay. And I think, as you said, Fatma, we said that culture can impact positively on people's well-being and their performance. So how can we make sure that people are following these new values, believing in those values? What kind of support that you need from other functions or departments all over Ookyo?
We have made commitment that we should always remind ourselves about the new values and what are the behaviors that we are not tolerating anymore. So everyone who attended the culture carpet discussion, he will always remember that there were two carpets. The gray carpet, which is small because we want to eliminate those bad values and behaviors. So we don't want to see them anymore in Ookyo, while the colored carpet is a bigger carpet which want to have a ripple effect. We want it to grow, and we wanted to have people all having this good values and behaviors. So let's remind always ourselves about these values. Let's always help each other about those values. And this is now a completely a new journey at Ookyo, and we want all to collaborate and to connect to each other to actually make these values lived.
Okay, thank you so much, Fatma. And for those who did not attend yet any of these culture carpet workshops, I invite them to do so, because it's really interactive workshops where you get to engage yourself with your colleagues and from different perspectives, and how can we implement and drive these new values together in Ookyo. So Fatma, before we end, any last words, any message you want to direct it to someone, please do so.
Be passionate about what you are doing. Enjoy your daily work experience at the office, and be proud of being an Ookyo employee. I think, and I do believe that we have, the company have invested a lot in the culture transformation journey. Individuals, their time and their efforts to make this journey a successful one. The culture is owned by everyone. We are all our culture. So I really encourage people to be as open as they could. If there is any feedback, if there is any improvement of how we are doing things, then we are always happy to connect with people, to meet with them, to share their thoughts and opinions. So let's all collaborate to make Ookyo a better place to work.
Thank you so much, Fatma.
You're welcome, Anud.